Hey, welcome back to another week. And today we finally completed week one and submitted our um, content for this week. So I just wanted to recap and kind of go over what we did today. So this week we are in English 123. And this week you had to focus in on entering two things. So let's talk about the post that we had to do. So for most of the class, it's not extremely difficult, at least right now. The information is not really that difficult. This is just a English class. If you've taken any type of English classes before in your life, then this will seem very familiar and not very difficult at all. This week, as I said, you were responsible for two posts. In addition to those two posts, you also were responsible for two additional things which are in module one. So we'll just kind of base them off of module one. So in module one, it's keys to persuasion. So that's what we're talking about. And so you had a 1.3 discussion that you needed to talk about is persuasion in everyday life. So in my persuasion of everyday life, I talked about me and my husband and basically the trying to convince him about why it is important to update your phone. Why, for example, a 7-year-old iPhone will not compare obviously to a new phone as far as the feature set is concerned, and trying to persuade him as to the details of that particular thing. So I went through, and when I did my post, I was very surprised the number of people that actually went through and responded. And my post was not anything groundbreaking. I think my post was just kind of common every day. And so I titled it, Why Update Your iPhone? And so I went through those details, talked about my husband probably in a little bit of detail that people weren't necessarily wanted to know, but they did chime in and they were very, very happy about my decision to try to persuade him to move from an old iPhone, which he did do, by the way. We were able to convince him to get a new iPhone. So I was very happy about that. So in addition to that, okay, you had to submit like normal when you're going to school online. You have to submit a post, your own post, and then you also have to reply to two other people's posts. I replied to one of my fellow students. Seth's post, he was talking about being on deployment in Alaska and what that was like, and trying to persuade his wife to get a new dog. And so they got this, he was able to persuade his wife to get this new dog. But what he did is he actually persuaded her by giving her or buying her a cat. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Talked about that and kind of like appreciated him sharing that story. And I shared some pictures of my two cats that I have to help him out with that. I also talked to another military guy who was persuading his command about having people stand duty, because the way that his command is set up right now is that people would stand duty for 12 hours, okay, for 12 hours 3 days a week. And he was trying to convince them to split that up into 8-hour shifts as opposed to 12 hours, and he had to persuade them to make that change. So that was the interesting thing in the discussion, persuasion in everyday life. So by Sunday, which is today, it is currently 12:37 as I'm recording this, and what to do is it's called the 1.6 journal from problem to persuasion. And so you have to go through the system, and there's these kind of databases that you can use that are specific to the school. And you use those databases, you pick a topic that applies to your specific major, and then you basically argue a point, and then you present both points. what the two issues are, and then you put your persuasive point, which one, you would go for. And so I talked in detail about my choice of going into computer science and what I think computer science is about. I did a screen recording for the video today, so when I get ready to record that, I'll be able to put that out on YouTube for the students who may be looking for it. So that was just kind of my take on this week. Hasn't been too much. I think I got 2 comments from 2 different students, and that was primarily it. We're going into module 2. Obviously, that starts as of tonight. I don't even think module 2 is open yet, but that's what we're going to go in, and I will, of course, brief you on next week's issue. And see where we are and keep you abreast. I'll also give you the grades. Once the grades come back, I'll kind of let you know how I did. So thank you for tuning in. I will see you next week.